in this section that we have been going through. We started it in the previous class, Sutra 67 onwards, up to Sutra number 73. The teacher is talking about those supreme devotees of the Lord. They who have realized the Lord. Again, over here we know that a jnani is a bhakta and a bhakta is a jnani. So we are talking about a person, a spiritual seeker who has walked the path of bhakti and merged with his altar of love, which is nothing but realization. After realization, after enlightenment, they come back. They don't quit their physical body. They stay with us and they work for our own welfare, and well-being. The society, the community, try to lift us all up. And when they are either communicating amongst themselves or communicating to the seekers in front of them, what is their state of mind? What will they communicate? They can only communicate what they have realized, but it is so difficult to communicate it. Why? They have realized the state of infinitude. How will they communicate that infiniteness to our finite minds? So therefore the teacher told us, in the last class we had gone up to the 68th Sutra. So when they are communicating to us or when they are communicating amongst themselves, so which means their characteristics have been depicted over here. So how will they be? The teacher says their throat is all choked. They have hair standing on end. Tears are flowing in their eyes. And when they are communicating what can't be communicated, they are all conversing in broken words. So words are not coming out. Not that they do not know. Words fail to grasp the state of infinitude. This is what their condition is. And yet they try to communicate it to us. Why? We need it. Such masters, such gurus, such acharyas, the teacher Narada says over here, Pavayanti kulani prithivim cha. They are the ones who sanctify their entire kula. Kula actually means family. It doesn't mean just their family. When a noble person is born in one family, and when he walks the spiritual path and realizes the higher, we are told all 7 generations on both sides, past and future which is yet to come, all get sanctified, all get purified by just this one person walking the path of spirituality. So therefore, Pavayanti Kulani, and also they sanctify and glorify the very earth on which they are treading. And they move about because there is nothing like they have their own house or they have their own dwelling. They have completely renounced everything, and yet they move from place to place to place. And they don't keep quiet. They are working. In fact, they are working more vigorously than all of us. But they are not performing activities like us because we are all prompted by our own ego. We are prompted by our own selfish desires, and therefore we enter into any field of activity. For them, there are no desires. They've transcended their ego, and yet they are working. So it just means that activities are flowing out of them. Why? It's all the divine will that is functioning through them. And they move from one place to another. They move from one place to another. We have seen our acharyas, those days when transport was not like how it is now, when conveyance was not like how it is now. Still they have moved across the country, north to south, east to west, not once, some of them multiple times. We really wonder how they did it. See, they move from place to place, meeting people, uplifting them. They visit even our sacred ancient pilgrim centers. Therefore, over here in the 69th Sutra, the teacher tells us, Tirthi kurvanti tirthani, sukarmi kurvanti karmani, sat shastri kurvanti shastrani. When they move amongst us, amongst we people, and work for us, when they move from place to place, especially our pilgrim centers, what is their contribution? So the teacher over said, Tirthani means our sacred pilgrim centers. There are so many pilgrim centers spread across the whole country, starting from Kedar, Badri up to Rameshwaram on this side, Puri on the other side, east, Dwaraka on the west. So innumerable great ancient pilgrim centers we have. We call them as Tirtha Kshetras. When our masters visit these places, these sacred places, what is their contribution? They sanctify the very place. So a Tirtha Kshetra is not a Tirtha Kshetra just because a temple is there, the deity is there. It is these masters who, when they walk or when they come to this pilgrim center, they lend sanctity to it. They lend divinity to it. That's the meaning of Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. These places earn the title of having become a Tirtha Kshetra, not just because of the deity over there, not just because of the temple over there, not just because it is there in the Puranas, it is mentioned in the Puranas. It is these great masters who, when they come over there, sanctify these places. These places automatically get glorified. Why? Because masters have visited these places. Masters have got associated with these pilgrim centers. So they are the ones who lend to it a sanctity, a divinity, and therefore we visit these pilgrim centers. So and so master lived over there. So and so master visited this pilgrim center. So and so master glorified the deity over there, wrote stotras over there in praise of the deity, etc. So Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani, Sukarmi Kurvanti Karmani. Whatever activities come out of them, it's not that they are wanting and wishing to do good deeds or good activities. Any activity that comes out of them, effortlessly, spontaneously, automatically it will become a glorious action. That's the meaning. Sukarmi Kurvanti Karmani. All their activities, whatever they do. And why are they doing it? They are doing it only for our welfare, for the welfare of the society and the community. So whatever they do, anywhere, it just becomes a glorious activity. It becomes actually worship of the Lord, whom they have associated themselves with, whom they are devoted to. So their very karma, their very activity becomes a sukarma, a noble, meritorious it becomes. Sanctity will be there, divinity will be there. They lend a charm to their activities. So much so that we feel it becomes for us, they become for us a role model. The master did like this, and therefore let us follow in his footsteps. So all their activities automatically are very noble, very uplifting, very beneficial again to the society. So it's not only the place, it's not only the activity over there. The place becomes holy because of them. The place becomes sanctified and divine because of them. Every karma that they do, every action that they do, which is for our own benefit, it becomes a glorious activity. And also, Shastri Kurvanti, Shastri Kurvanti Shastrani. All our scriptures, when they talk about our scripture, because when they go from place to place, people gather around them, satsangs will be there, and what is it that they will do? They will give discourses on our various shastras, scriptures. So they are the ones who lend authority to our scriptures. They are the ones who lend authenticity to our scriptures. We may have read it, we may have heard it from somebody. We do not know what is right, we do not know what is wrong. We do not know whether this particular person's interpretation is right or wrong, whether it is beneficial for us as an individual and collective as a society. But when our masters give exposition to it, when they give discourses on our scriptures, the scriptures gain an authority and an authenticity. Once it comes from them, we know that this is what has to be followed. So they lend authority and they lend sanctity, authenticity to our scriptures. The teacher continues talking about these masters. So in the 70th sutra he says, Tanmayaha. Why is it that we are raising them to such a high level? That they are the ones who lend sanctity and divinity to our pilgrim centers. Whatever they do, it becomes glorious, a glorious activity or a glorious karma. So karma it becomes. And when they talk about our scriptures, they lend authenticity to it, authority to it. Why is it all happening? Because they are tanmayaha. They are full of Him. Tatmayam. When we say this coffee is sugarmayam, it means more of sugar than the milk and the decoction. This sambar is saltmayam. Too much of salt in it, not just a little extra, too much. So Brahmamayam, when we say everything is nothing and nothing but Brahmamayam only. So they are all Tatmayam. Tat means that. What is that? That is Brahman alone. They've all become Godmayam. They all have become Brahmamayam. So instead of using the word Brahman, the teacher uses the word here Tat. Tatmayam, Tanmayam, Tanmayaha, plural over there. They all are full of Him, inside and outside. They have realized Him. They have become He Himself. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma they have become. So they and Brahman are not two. They and Brahman are one and the same. They have become of the nature of Brahman Himself. So all the infinite glories of Brahman are now the glories of the Master who is there in front of us, or the devotee of the Lord in front of us. So Tanmayaha, when such a person walks from place to place, is there amidst all of us in society, in the community, the teacher over here in Sutra 71 says, Modante Pitaro, Nrityanti Devataha, Sanatha Cheyam Bhur Bhavati. So when a master walks the surface of the earth, rarely we find such great masters walking on the surface of the earth. And when they walk, what is happening terrestrially and beyond the terrestrial realm? Modante Pitaro. Pitaro means over here the forefathers, ancestors, past generation. So all the past generation, all the forefathers who are there in their lineage, into whose family they were all born, Modante, they rejoice. They feel extremely fulfilled. Why? Such a person has been born in our lineage. And because of him having walked the spiritual path and realized the Lord, we all have become blessed. We've all become fulfilled. Therefore, they are rejoicing. Earlier itself, the teacher told us, Pavayanti Kulani. So over here, forefathers. That's why I said 7 generations. Just one person, one great person, or one spiritual, earnest, true, sincere spiritual seeker born in a family, the entire family is blessed, the entire family is fulfilled. Not only that family, but 7 generations past and future get taken care of. So Modante, they rejoice. Forefathers, past generation also implies over here culture. Because whenever we say we are a cultural generation, cultural entity, what does it mean? We are following what our forefathers were doing, performing, whatever it is. So they did this. And therefore it has come to all of us. Therefore we say culture in the family. He or she belongs to such a cultured family, means father's generation was cultured, grandfather's generation, great-grandfather's generation. So if we are all cultured, it has come not just because of us practicing something, it is because of our previous generations keeping those values intact, doing what should be done and not doing what should not be done. That's how culture, traditions flow from one generation to the other generation. So our rich heritage is because of that connectivity between generations. So modante pitaro directly means our forefathers or our past generations are all rejoicing. They are feeling extremely fulfilled. That is one meaning. Another meaning is culture is intact. So how do we make sure that our culture is intact? It's just by passing it down to the next generation. It came to us because of our previous generation. Now it is there with us. It should be kept safe. How can we keep it safe? We have to hand it over to the next generation. So therefore, father to son in the family, or guru to shishya, guru shishya parampara. That's how things are handed down. So therefore, culture also becomes intact. Somewhere if something is being lost or is becoming diluted, these masters make sure that everything again gets back onto the right track. So cultural revival also will take place when with the help of these masters. So instead of reading the direct meaning as past generation or forefathers, we can consider it as also a cultural revival happening when the masters walk the surface of the earth. Nrityanti devataha, all the devatas in the heaven, they are all dancing. When do we dance? Only when we are happy. So therefore they are very, very happy. Why? Something was being lost. Dharma was on the decline. Values were on the decline. There was cultural disintegration. Now everything is getting revived. So the devatas over there in the celestial spheres, they are all very, very happy and they are dancing over there. That's one meaning, direct meaning. Devatas also stand for all the noble and virtuous people on the terrestrial plane. So when one master is walking on the surface of the earth, all the noble people, the virtuous people have a solid support whom they can lean on to. Otherwise they were wondering who is there whom we can follow. We do not know what to do. We do not know what not to do. What is right? What is wrong? What is dharma? What is adharma? Whom do we follow? Whom can we go to for support? Here is a master. So therefore automatically all the noble people, the virtuous people, the devoted people, the ones who are seeking the highest knowledge, they all feel very, very happy when there is a master over there whom they can associate with, whom they can lean on to. So therefore nrityanti devataha sanata cheyam bhur-bhavati. Mother Earth, she feels sanata. Nata means master. So Mother Earth feels, yeah, here comes a master. She also was feeling. In the Puranas we read these incidents where dharma is on the decline and adharma is raising its hood. Why? Because of the Rakshasas and their atrocities. Now and then Mother Earth goes to Brahmadeva and says, I am being burdened with all the papa that is going on around me and about me. Sin has become too much. Adharma has become too much. I can carry the burden and the weight of the trees and the oceans and the rivers and the mountains, but this burden of carrying sin is too much. When will a person come to deliver me of all this? Means she wants Bhagavan to come down in an avatar. So these little incidents we read in the Puranas. So Brahmadeva tells her, or Vishnu Bhagavan tells her, don't worry, I am coming down. She feels very happy. Yes, a master is coming down. Or Bhagavan himself is coming down as Rama or as Krishna, avatar over there. So Natha means master. So when these masters are walking on the surface of the earth, Mother Earth is more happy than anybody else. Mother Earth means we people living on Mother Earth. That's what it means over here. So we all need a person. So the society, the community gets a master, a perfect master or a guru who can guide not just one person, not just two people or a few people, but the entire mankind, society, community, mankind. They can guide them and direct them to walk the right path. So therefore, Mother Earth also becomes associated with a great master. She feels very happy. And these masters, when they are working, and though they are rare, it's not that one person only. We may know, we may not know. There are so many masters, there are so many great people, even now, in our own present times. 2024 July, when we feel good people are not there, still there are people. How do we know who all are sitting over there, whether it is in their own homes or in the ashram or in the caves of the Himalayas or in some forest, and have moved away from all the materialistic world and walking the spiritual path to reach the Lord? And how many are there who have already realized? We do not know. They won't come and tell us, I have realized. Mukti has happened to me, moksha has happened to me, enlightenment has happened to me. There may be so many amongst us, around us and about us, we do not know. Somebody realized. They may be a householder. He or she may be looking like poverty stricken, looks like a beggar over there on the streets, or like a madman roaming on the streets. But he may be realized. How do we know how many are there? But sure, there are many. Even now in the Himalayas, we are told, in the remotest corners of the Himalaya, there are so many great people who are even to this day sending out their spiritual vibrations towards us. Only thing is, we need to align with them. We need to tune up to them. If we can tune up to the frequency that they are sending, we will be able to receive them. We are all receiving sets. They are all transmitting sets. So the frequency of the transmitting set and the receiving set have to match. Only then we will be able to receive. But just because we have not received, it doesn't mean they are not there. There are. Though they are rare, still they are there. Maybe in the Himalayas, maybe in the marketplace, maybe moving amongst us, we do not know. Their very presence is uplifting. Why? We've already seen whatever they do is glorious. Whatever they discourse upon, they're lending authenticity and authority to it. And whatever place they walk on, that they automatically purify and sanctify. It becomes holy. So the kshetra becomes holy because of them. So when there are so many of them over here, around us and about us, how are they all mutually? In the 72nd Sutra, the teacher tells us, Nasti teshu jati vidya rupa kula dhana kriyadi bhedaha. Their characteristics again over here. Teshu means amongst themselves. So amongst themselves means all of them. It is not that this person is like this, the other person is not like this. All our realized masters, all our Jivan Muktas, all the great Bhaktas of the Lord have all this in common. So Teshu means among themselves, na asti. They do not have. What do they not have? Bhedaha. They don't have differences at all amongst themselves and when they are working amongst us also. So amongst themselves, what all differences they don't have, what Bheda they do not have? Jati. Jati means caste, creed. Vidya, knowledge. So Jati means lower caste, higher caste, upper caste, lower caste, family, gotra, ityadi. Differences they don't entertain. Vidya, he is more qualified or I am more qualified, I have more knowledge, this person has got less knowledge, they don't have that among them at all. Rupa, form, how they look, how they, when we see them, what is it that we register from them or between themselves. No differences with respect to Rupa, form. Kula, family. We've already seen. I come from a very high family. I come from a noble family, illustrious family. This is my Gotra. He comes from a Gotra which is lesser than mine. No distinctions with regard to family. Dhana, wealth. It can be even before Jivan Mukti, whether they came from a affluent family or they came from a family which was poverty stricken, or now when they probably are running institutions. Institution means wealth will be around it. Schools they may be running, colleges they may be running, hospitals they may be running. They may be doing so much of social activities for the welfare of the community. So wealth will be there. So this institution is more prosperous. This institution is less prosperous. This has got more funds. This is more richer than the other institution. Amongst them, they don't have any differences at all. Kriya means profession, activities. This religious institution attached to this master is doing all these activities. That institution associated with that master is not doing so many activities, running so many activities at all. It's not for us to judge. Amongst them, they have no differences at all. So we are the ones who feel they have differences among themselves. Acharya Narada, sage Narada tells us over here, amongst them, why? They are the ones who have perfected themselves. They have reached that state of absolute perfection. And therefore in them, they don't entertain any distinctions at all, or they don't entertain any differences at all with respect to Jati, Vidya, Rupa, Kula, Dhana and Kriya. And also when they are amongst all of us, when they are working for us, all the bhaktas who are there in front of them, disciples that are there in front of them, all are devotees equal. All are disciples equal. They will never ever see from which lineage is this disciple coming, which Gotra he is coming from, which family is he coming from, which lineage he comes from, how much of knowledge he has got, how much he is acquiring, assimilating knowledge. One may be poor in assimilating the knowledge, one may be faster in assimilating the knowledge. But still, they will be equal to all their disciples. Rupa, how they look, physical appearance also makes a lot of difference. So, Rupa, Kula, Dhana, wealth. This disciple comes from a rich family. This disciple doesn't come from a rich family. When Krishna went to Sandipani ashram over there, he was treated just like all the others. So, even he had to work over there. He and Sudama, we are told, one day they went out to the forest for what? To collect logs of wood and bring it back. Logs, small branches, twigs, etc. So even Krishna worked over that. Sandipani did not say the Krishna comes from a royal family or Bhagavan, he is none other. Sandipani knew that Krishna is Bhagavan's avatar. So he is an avatar, therefore he should not be working, nothing like that. So even when they relate to their disciples and devotees also, they don't see all these things at all. What work he is doing, etc. Absolutely no differences at all. Why? The teacher is again insisting over here. He says over here, Yataha Tadiyaha. Plural over here. Why? They know that everything and every being is nothing but Bhagavan himself in a different form. So when a master meets another master, when a master realized Jivan Mukta meets another Jivan Mukta, Nasti Teshu Jati Vidya Rupa Kula Dhana Kriyadi Beda. No differences at all between the two of them. And also, why? Because both of them are nothing but Bhagavan himself in another form. So he will this Jivan Mukta will salute the other one as Brahman, and in turn the other one also, the other Jivan Mukta also will salute or offer his salutations to this one as none other than Brahman himself in another form. Both of them are Brahman meeting each other. Actually, there are no two at all. They are both one. We see two. So that is between themselves. And also whenever they meet, when they are with the disciples or with devotees, how do they consider them? Yes, they are teaching their disciples, they are giving discourse to the disciples, they are all in the learning stage, they are realized, but still they know that all the disciples in front of them or all the devotees in front of them are nothing but Bhagavan himself in a different form. So even though it is a Shishya there, they are sitting on a higher platform, the children are all sitting on the lower platform, they have less knowledge than the teacher, but does the teacher look at them? Externally, yes, he is Guru and he is Shishya. So he will do the Guru's Dharma of pulling up the Shishya if he goes wrong also. But at a spiritual level, the teacher very clearly knows, without a doubt, a suspicion of a doubt, that that disciple in front of me is none other than Bhagavan himself who has come. Sandipani knew that Krishna is none other than Narayana himself, but yet he took him as his disciple. So in and through, as he was guiding him, as he was teaching him, when he was in the Gurukula, the teacher very well knew that this is Bhagavan himself over here. So therefore, similarly, even though the disciples are there in front of him, the devotees are there in front of him, what is his attitude? Within himself, he knows that they are all Narayana himself or his own form itself in so many different forms over there, sitting in front of him. So these are some of the characteristics of a man of realization. In the 74th sutra over here, the teacher is telling us over here, either for a master or it applies to us also who are on the spiritual path, walking the spiritual path. When knowledge comes to us, more and more and more knowledge comes to us, what do? Normally we enter into debate, we enter into arguments. It happens. When the teacher puts the knowledge into us, when we sit to discuss with each other, group discussion, there will be a debate, there will be arguments, and we know controversies will be there, contradictions will be there amongst the students itself and amongst masters also. It can happen. Therefore, the teacher is warning us over here. He says, Vado Navalamyaha. Never ever take refuge in, take course to what? To Vada, arguments, debating with regard to spirituality. He said, never enter into it. We should not entertain any Vada, arguments, debates, heated debates it can become. Arguments can become very, very fierce, volatile it can become. Each one is expressing his own views. So therefore his views and the other one's views may not beautifully align themselves at all. Therefore arguments will start. And once one person wants to prove himself better than the other, he will quote from various books, he will quote from various other acharyas, he will quote. And when it comes to interpretation, there are so many interpretations. It's not just one. So many interpretations will be there. For one small little text, the commentary will be there. Each one will differ. So if we read many commentaries of one single text, sometimes we can get confused. So and so master has written like this. So and so master has written like this. And I do not know how to put them together and bring them together. It looks like contradicting the other. He seems to be contradicting the other. Sometimes it will be diametrically opposite. And how many are there? Not one or two or three. In Uddhava Gita, Krishna says, so many diverse ways are there of interpreting one small little text. Here we have so many scriptures. So interpretations will be many. If we sit and start debating on it and arguing on it, it will lead us nowhere. So that is what the teacher is in the 75th sutra emphasizing for us. Why we should not enter into an argument. Why should we not enter into a debate? We are not talking about satsangs wherein we are reflecting on what the teacher is telling us, so that we become sure that we have understood it. He is not talking about that at all. The constructive reflection that we do, loud reflection that we do in a satsang or in a discussion group, he is not talking about that. This is vain argument. I want to prove myself better than the other. If with that attitude somebody goes around, it will lead that person nowhere. So if he starts arguing with everybody and entering into debate and argument with other scholars, other pandits, other masters, it will just diversify into so many, because each one will give their own interpretation and they will justify it. Then this, on the other side, the opposite side has to now give their interpretation and try to justify it. Then they will pull other theories. So and so said like this, so and so said like this. It will lead us nowhere. Jungle of words. We get caught in it. Sheer confusion. It's going to be only noise. So the teacher over here in the 75th Sutra tells us, Bahulyavakashatvat Aniyatatvat cha. Why should we not enter into any of these controversies, contradiction, debates, argument? It will lead us to it will lead to complication, contradiction, controversy. Why he says in the 75th Sutra over here, theories can be endless, and it can just branch out into different diverse viewpoints. So where will we, therefore what will be the conclusion? Even after days, maybe months of arguments, months of debates, still no conclusion arrived at, no decision arrived at. It can lead us to that. Then the whole thing becomes waste. We are wasting our time. Therefore, it's a warning for all the great bhaktas or the teacher, the gurus over there. Don't enter into vainful, useless, unnecessary debates and arguments. Let them keep their viewpoints to themselves. Why should we enter into it and prove them all wrong? No need. They may try, they in turn will be trying to prove us wrong. And in the bargain, it will just diversify like anything, and finally no conclusion we will be able to arrive at. So it will all become arguments in vain. Therefore the teacher is warning us, never ever enter into arguments and unnecessary debates, because contradictions will be there. Controversies, yes, will be there. And finally, sometimes we may start wondering whether we were really right. We were walking the spiritual path since 2 years, maybe since 3 years, maybe since 10 years. Now that person is saying all that you are doing is wrong. It is a waste. You wasted your time. Then what will happen to us? The whole system will collapse. Our entire spiritual personality which we had built up will collapse. So therefore a warning over there, not to enter into such vainful arguments and debates. The 76th Sutra over here, the teacher is saying again instructions for us. So in the 76th Sutra, the teacher says, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani Tadudbodhaka Karmani Karaniyani. It's very beautiful instruction given to us. He says, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. Then after that, what we should do? Tadudbodhaka Karmani Karaniyani. So in the beginning, knowledge first. Without knowledge, we can't enter into anything at all. With ignorance, if we do something, it's not going to be fruitful for us at all. It won't be meaningful, it won't be purposeful at all. Why? We have entered into something without knowing. So it's going to be a waste of time, waste of effort. Why? I did not know, and yet I ventured into this field of activity. Therefore, he says over here, this is on the path of bhakti. We do not know what bhakti is, and we want to engage ourselves in bhakti towards the Lord. I want to walk the bhakti marga, the path of devotion. Do you know anything about devotion? I do not know anything about devotion at all. Then how are we going to put our first step? Therefore, the teacher is saying over here, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. All Shastra means the texts that are indicating to us what we should be practicing. Shastra textbook means not only it gives to us the knowledge, but it also tells us how to put it into practice. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Sankalpa Vakya, very nicely it comes. It is both. It is a philosophy by itself, pure knowledge, as well as it is a textbook of instructions, what to do. So after we gain the knowledge, the Gita not only gives that knowledge to us, but it will tell us also how to walk the path, how to put that knowledge into practice. So Shastra book is not only theoretical, but it is also practical. So since we are dealing with bhakti over here, because it is Narada Bhakti Sutras, Bhakti Shastrani. First we have to enter into the Bhakti Shastras. Means all knowledge which is talking about bhakti, which is emphasizing bhakti to us. First we gain the knowledge. How to gain the knowledge? By reaching out to a master. So the first thing is Shravana. Shravana means to listen to. Not just hearing. Hearing is we hear through one ear, and most of us leave out whatever we heard through this ear, through the other ear. So it's not just hearing. Many things we hear, but we don't register it. So it's not hearing, but it is listening to. Shrunu is the word Krishna again uses in the Bhagavad Gita. Shrunu means listen. Listening means hearing with full attention. So the mind should be cooperating over, mind and body should be cooperating with that sense organ called the ears. So therefore Shravana means to listen. So first we have to reach out to a master and listen to the Bhakti Shastras. The texts that are dealing with the theory part and the practical part of bhakti. Narada Bhakti Sutra is a Shastra textbook for us. So therefore, first thing is to listen to the teacher. Bhakti Shastra. What should we listen to? Bhakti Shastra we should listen to. After Shravana, we come back. Most of us don't do Manana over there. Therefore, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. We should reflect on what we have listened to, not what we have heard. What we have heard, we will never be able to reflect on because it's gone out through the other ear. So whatever we have listened to with full attention, when we were with the teacher, when we come back, because 24/7, 365 days, we are not sitting in front of the teacher over there. And constantly he is not talking to us. So he gives the discourse and then he leaves us. We disperse. After we disperse, what should we do? We must sit down, spend some time every day in Manana. The Manana is very, very important. Manana means to reflect on. What should we reflect on? We should reflect on whatever we have listened to. So everything must come back to us. It's like a recap. So we should go on and on and on within ourselves, as though we are teaching ourselves. The teacher taught us externally. Now we are with ourselves. The teacher is not there in front of us, but we have listened to whatever the teacher has told us. What the teacher has told us, whatever knowledge the teacher has given to us, it must become a part of our knowledge. It should enter into us and become, that knowledge must become a part of me. That knowledge was till now a part of the teachers. It was teacher's knowledge. He has given to us now. We already have some knowledge. This new knowledge that has come to us must very beautifully align itself with whatever knowledge we have stored in our memory. When can that happen? Only when we do reflection, manana. Otherwise, there will be breaks over there. This new knowledge, fresh knowledge, if we don't do manana on it, it won't merge with the memory we have, the knowledge we have acquired earlier, and become, so there is no growth over there. Knowledge wise, we have not progressed. There will be breaks. So if we want to progress on the path of gaining knowledge, manana is a must. Revision, that's what it means. How to do manana? Sit down by ourselves. Yes, we can discuss with the other devotees, with the other disciples in our satsangs. We can do that constructive. That is reflection, loud reflection. But more than that, we should do our own inner reflection. So as we go on and on and on, munching on whatever knowledge the teacher has put into us, it will become clearer and clearer and clearer to us, and it will become our knowledge. That's what the teacher wants it to happen. That knowledge that he gave should become our knowledge. It must become a part and parcel of us, an integral part of us. That will happen only when we do manana. The best thing, example that Gurudev used to give is to say, in the cup of your intellect, the teacher has put the knowledge. Intellect is the one which receives the knowledge, of course, through the mind and through the ears. So into the cup of your intellect, the teacher has put the knowledge. That knowledge you must now use along with the previous knowledge already stored. We must now, it's a question of progressing. So we were, whatever we were till today, now the teacher has put some extra new knowledge into us. So tomorrow we should be able to practice what we earlier had knowledge plus what the teacher gave to us today. Tomorrow we should be able to put it into practice. That's how it should be. So in the cup of our intellect, the teacher has put the knowledge. But still we are as bad as we were before. Knowledge is there in the intellect. The teacher has put it to us. But it has not become our knowledge. What should we do to it? He used to give the example of coffee. When somebody comes home and we offer them a cup of coffee, we make the coffee, decoction and milk. Most often, very often, we do not know how much of sugar to put. The person may be diabetic, or some of them add less sugar. Some of them like to have more sugar in their coffee. So normally we ask them how much of sugar, or the best thing is coffee in the cup and a spoon in the saucer, and sugar is also kept side by side there, which means you can put the sugar or we put the sugar. So how much of sugar shall I put into your cup? They say 1 spoon. So we take 1 spoon of sugar and put it into the cup, and then we give it to them. If we just give it to them as it is, and if they drink the coffee will still be bitter. Why? They did not stir it. So in the cup of coffee, sugar is there, but still the coffee is not sweet, it is bitter. Why? They did not stir it. So all that they have to do is take the spoon, put it inside the cup, and then stir the coffee, so that all the sugar particles which have settled down will slowly dissolve and become one with the coffee. So when we stir it clockwise, anti-clockwise, then all the sugar will melt and become a part of the coffee. Then when we drink the coffee, topmost layer up to the bottommost layer will be uniformly sweet. Similarly also, when the teacher puts the knowledge into the cup of our intellect, we are still as bad as we were yesterday or a day before yesterday. Why? The knowledge has not become a part of us. How to make this new knowledge that the teacher gave to us today a part of our knowledge? We have to stir it. Sugar has been put. Knowledge is the sugar. But still we are bitter in our lives. Why? We did not do the stirring. What is the stirring that we have to do? Manana. So when we reflect for, against, within ourselves, what did the teacher tell us? Did I understand it properly? Or did I not understand it properly? No, we keep on munching it again and again, and we go over it again and again and again. Slowly, it will become a part of us. That knowledge will sink into us. And the only process of making that knowledge a part of us, an integral part of us, is by reflection. Therefore, all our masters always say, manana is very, 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 very important. So once we have done our manana, then all that the teacher has put into us, the knowledge, it has become ours. Now, with that knowledge, tadud bodhaka karmani, with that knowledge, we should enter into our field of activity. Tadud bodhaka karma. Karma means activities. All our karma now should be backed by, should be supported by what? Whatever instruction the teacher has given to us, or whatever knowledge we have now. After doing successful reflection. So when we have done, when the knowledge is entered into us through Shravana, then we do our manana, then it becomes a part and parcel of us, then out of that arises wisdom. Knowledge is different, wisdom is different. And also when we start discriminating what is right, what is wrong, in our field of activity, things become very, very clear to us. So therefore, tadud bodhaka karmani. With the help of this, now we must enter into our field of activity. Karmani karaniyani. We should engage ourselves in such activities. Very beautifully, starting from knowledge, hearing from the teacher up to performing our activities. The continuity over there has been so beautifully given in the 76th Sutra. Just one line over there. So it's starting from books on devotion. Bhakti Shastra. So Bhakti Shastra means first Shravana. We should hear it. After having heard it, we should not stop over there. We should reflect on it. And once we have sufficiently reflected on it, wisdom will dawn in us. We become more mature. We know what to do and we know what not to do. We know what choice to make. That is using our discriminative faculty, viveka over there. Two paths are there. Two choices are there. Which one should I take? Which path should I enter into? Which path should I walk? There is the right path and there is the wrong path. Or there is a easy path but of gaining something, but there is a difficult path also. It will take long time, but it is a more sincere, honest path. Which should we enter into? The corrupt path and the non-corrupt path. That will come to us only when we do sufficient reflection on what all the corrupt people. We think they do not know what is right and what is wrong. Of course they know what is right. They know what is wrong. But they have not done reflection on it. Temptation therefore will overwhelm them. Various other factors. Desire, lust, greed, ego there. All of them will just make them choose the wrong path. And therefore they go astray and walk the path of unrighteousness. So therefore, Bhakti Shastra, first Shravana, then we should do Manana upon it, and then once we have done Manana on it, Manana is like churning also. So when we churn the milk, butter comes out. What is it? Viveka, the butter of discrimination. Maturity, the butter of wisdom. That butter of wisdom we should use and then enter into our field of activity and diligently perform our activities. It's just one line, but so much included or incorporated in this one sutra, the 76th sutra over here. So therefore the teacher is telling us what to do over here. And in the next one, and so when this much the teacher tells us, we say, okay, so first is for a Shravana. We have to hear. What should we hear? Bhakti Shastra we have to hear. So we have to hear from the master about Bhakti. Only then we can practice Bhakti. We always wait for a good time. When is the Shubha Muhurta? Which is the Shubha Masam? month, Ashada Masa. I don't think I should venture into anything. Why? Let Shravana come. But we missed Chaitra and Vaishaka very comfortably. And when Ashada has come to us, and when we know a master is coming, Chaturmasya, Ashada. Not good for many things. Let us wait for Shravana. We keep postponing. So month is not good. A week, of course, is not. The Paksha is not good. The moon is not waxing but waning. So it's not Shukla Paksha. So I will wait for Shukla Paksha to come and not Krishna Paksha now. Or the day is not good. Sunday is not good. Mangalavara we call it, but still we say we don't want to enter into anything. Mangalavara. Or in a particular day, this Kala is not good, or this time is not good. Rahu Kala has come, that Kala has come, this Kala has come. Time is not good. At home situation is not good. So many factors will line up just to make us stop ourselves from entering into the spiritual path. Anything else, immediately we go. So we always wait for a nice time. Good times also we have hit the ceiling. Why don't you come to the temple? Why should I come to the temple? Anyway, everything is so comfortable for me. There are many of us who will say that. Why go to a temple? Why pray? Everything is fine for me. Family is fine, food, clothing, shelter, everything, plus comforts taken care of. My family also, so every loving family I have, no problems at home, no problem in my career, in my profession. Whatever I wanted is there in my life. What will I go and ask for? I am very, very happy. So therefore I don't need to go to the temple. I don't need to practice bhakti. Dukkha comes, of course there is no time for us. When dukkha comes, we'll say, let the dukkha go away and then I will enter into the spiritual path. 101 things like that. Let this come into my life, let that come into my life. My desires are all not yet fulfilled. Once my desires are all fulfilled, then I will think of entering the spiritual path. Like that, 101 excuses, more than that, when it comes to walking the spiritual path. Where is the time? It's like a person sitting on the beach over there and saying, I want to take a sea bath. Why don't you enter into the waters? You are there sitting on the beach. Just walk 2 steps. Enter into the waters and take bath in the sea. He said, no, I am waiting for the waves to stop, to recede. Once the waves stop, then I will enter into the sea and take a bath. Waves will never stop. That's the nature of the ocean. Waves will come and waves will go. So if we sit on the beach over there, seashore over there, waiting for all the waves to subside, to take a sea bath, never it will happen. Similarly also, we are all waiting for one good muhurtam, one good time. Olle kala barli. Time chanagilla, we always say. Time is not good. And therefore I have kept postponing and I have kept postponing and I have kept postponing what? To practice bhakti towards the Lord. So million excuses we will give, arguments we will line up and say this is not good time. Dasaru very beautifully, that's what is being dealt with in the 77th sutra, which we will take up in the next class. Dasaru say, Indina dinave shubhadinavu, indina vara shubhavara. He said this week is most auspicious. This day is most auspicious. Whether it is Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha, whichever day it is, whether it is Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday, this particular time is the most auspicious. Why? You have the time now. Next moment may not be yours. We don't know what is coming. We may say now dukkha is there, let the dukkha go away. A greater dukkha may come which will overwhelm this dukkha. Compared to that dukkha which comes, this dukkha was nothing. So how do we know what is there lined up for us? Therefore, here and now is what our masters say. When shall I start, sir? Whether it is walking the path of knowledge, Jnana Marga, or Bhakti Marga, Dhyana, when should I start meditating? Of course, we should know what to do in our seat of meditation, here and now. There is no time better than here and now. When should we start reading the Bhagavad Gita? Postpone. Since 2 years I have been thinking that I will start reading the Bhagavad Gita and the commentary. But till now we did not. Why? Something or the other was happening. Narada Bhakti Sutra, it can be Bhaja Govindam, it can be anything. We keep on postponing, keep on postponing, keep on postponing. Dasuru therefore say, Indina Dinave, Shubha Kala is right now. There is no better Shubha Kala than now. So we want to start something good, start right away. That's what the teacher is telling us in the 77th Sutra, which we will take up in the next class.